No, last year I averaged like mid six. This year I averaged.
This year you average high six.
Yeah, this year I averaged high six. Yeah, I feel like last year I was a better cuber.
Yeah.
Sure.
What happened?
This year I started working full time, so I didn't have as much time. Last year I was studying part time earlier in the year, and then I knew that I was going to be starting a job at the start of this year. So I basically had like 6 months, like from the West Coast cubing tour onwards. I was basically just cubing and traveling. It's pretty sweet, but it has kind of highlighted just how much, how important practice is to me, or at least just to even maintain speed, not even necessarily improve. Because I've probably beaten like 4 PBs in comp this year, and like not by much at all, which is kind of a function of like the number of comps you go to and also like the amount of practice.
So you think you're a worse cuber now, but you got the world record? Or you're just not in practice? Like what? How does? Like, because I feel like
I still practice. I still practice.
Okay, so how much did you practice before, and like how has that changed since you started? What does full-time work mean? First of all, like, what hours of the day do you have available to like?
Right. Well, then also I guess the addition to that is that 3 weeks ago I've actually finished up at the company.
Ah.
And so for the last 3 weeks, I have not been working full time.
Ah.
So there's also potentially a factor into this.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Laser Monkey, and today we'll be breaking down Feliks's 5.53 world record average. Let's get right into it. For this first solve, Feliks did yellow cross. His cross pieces are here, 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 and here. And his first F2L pair is the green-orange. So he's going to start off by solving these 3 relative to each other, like this. And then he's going to make room for this orange-yellow, like that. And then finish off the cross. Then he's got these 2, which he solves into the back. Then he's going to take these 2. And solve those into the back. Next, he was going to solve these 2, but then he saw these 2, so he inserts them first, then inserts these 2, standard OLL, and PLL. Any thoughts on the solve, Feliks?
The only thing that I did, which was kind of strange or like silly, is that first F2L pair, where I do like R, U prime, R prime, and then set it up into the back, like set it up to solve it into the back, which is obviously like a very inefficient solution for that F2L pair. Like you could just do something like F prime, LU, L prime, F, but I was kind of, given that it was the final, and I'm always like, if I mess something up really badly in the first solve, I kind of don't really want to do that in the final. So it's like, okay, I can do it slightly safer and just do this really inefficient solution, solve the pair into the back. Hopefully I see something else, because also with that cross, that was like I think it was the only pair that I saw like when doing inspection. So solving into the back is also better in that situation, because I'm like, hopefully something else will pop up. And so it was a combination of safety and look ahead. But it's not a great F12 pair solution. Oh yeah, then there's like, what did I even do? Oh, that back pair. Yeah. Okay, then the last 2 pairs were okay.
Yeah.
Then I should have done OLL CP. But because the corners, because I did a U2 AUF before the OLL, I couldn't see like the OLL CP that easily. I should have just done like the F R prime F alg, which would have given a U prime, but again, it doesn't really matter too much.
Seconds. Okay.
For this next solve, Feliks does blue cross. His cross pieces are here, 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 and here. And you can see that these 2 are already solved relative to each other. And if we put this one over here, it'll be solved relative to those two. And we see that this is the first pair. And Feliks actually planned this first pair and this second pair in inspection, the orange-yellow and the red-yellow. So he's going to start off by solving this cross piece, solving the cross, then doing these two, and these two as he inspected. Now he's got these two, and then these two, and then this is the same last layer from the 4.73 single world record.
So this one is pretty easy. Like the cross is pretty straightforward, like the U prime and then 2 gen RD, and then you've got both of those F2L pairs in the top, like both of the yellow F2L pairs in the top layer. So I kind of see those, know which order I'm going to do it in, and just try and go ahead and execute that pretty smoothly, which I was able to do. I guess potentially you could have cancelled like the U2, like when you do the R2 move of the cross, you can cancel that into like the U2 and split up that red-yellow pair, but that's getting a bit too like fancy. Doing stuff like D and U at the same time is one of the main areas I think where I messed something up, like in a solve. Like trying to do AUFs around the top layer for certain F2L pairs whilst like aligning the cross is a big area of mistakes for sure. For the RD part of the cross, it doesn't affect the yellow-orange F2L pair at all. And so doing RU to R prime just brings those two pieces together and makes them that like mismatch pair. But during that execution, I'm just trying to find what I'm going to do for the third pair. I didn't quite go for the wide F prime insert for that second pair. Like if you see it was like very much on. I guess potentially that's because of the orientation of the other two F2L edges, but I'm like not certain on that because the other two F2L edges like are oriented.
Right. So
I also could have like inserted it into the back with L moves as well, which also in this case probably would have been better. But I think when you have a pretty easy start like that and you've executed two F2L pairs pretty smoothly, one thing that I'm also thinking in this second pair is like if I insert it into this front right, like into that slot in the back, I can kind of see what's coming out of that slot more easily. So if I insert it into the front right position, I can see what's coming out of that slot more easily, so it makes looking at it a bit easier. But that decision could like go one of many ways. That's just kind of what happened. And then for the last F2L pair, instead of doing just LU moves, for some reason I do like 2 rotations and just do it with RU. I think part of that is like looking at what is there on the top layer. My intuition that doing like L prime U prime LU L prime U prime L to insert that pair would give a shitty OLO case. I can go ahead and check. X, Y2. Yeah, well, it gives like, it kind of average OLO case.
So you saw the blocks coming together and you thought, maybe I should do it this way. And then you got the 4.73.
Yeah. I was like, let's try something different, see if I can get a nicer OLO case. So it was kind of, a little bit of OLO influence, trying to set up something a little bit nicer. And also avoid L moves. I guess looking back at this solve now, another solution is you can do like a sledgehammer and then 3-move insert to orient your edges as well for that last pair. But it's not really something you can see that quite quickly.
Come on.
For this next solve, Feliks did red cross. His cross pieces are here, 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 and here. So he's going to start off by moving these two up in order to set up this block so that he can then solve this edge over here and then preserve this pair in the process. So what he does first is insert this cross piece, and then as he's inserting this edge, he's going to preserve this one. Then as he's going to insert this one, he sees that this one was solved, so he does this with a sledgehammer to preserve this pair, and then he does that pair like that, and then here he has a nice OLS and a U-perm.
In inspection, you could probably see that like I have no idea. Like I see all these kind of blocks and pairs, and for about 8 or 9 seconds, I'm trying to figure out like what the hell to do. And then, yeah, at around that like 8 or 9 second mark, I see the red X cross. Yeah, if you watch the video back, you can see that like I have not decided anything in that time, and then I'm just still trying to look for something good. And luckily, I found that red X cross. But yeah, that was kind of a very risky inspection.
Yeah, but
like, I knew there was something good, but if I had like a few more seconds, it probably would have been like an 8-second solve. Like if it had been a few more seconds and I didn't find anything in inspection, yeah, it would have been like an 8 probably.
I was wondering if you saw any of the F2L pairs coming together, if that was just luck.
No, I didn't see the blue-yellow pair at all. I was just focused on like doing that keyhole extended cross with the yellow and green, and then I knew that it would take out that white and green F2L pair and preserve that. So the plan was just to rotate and then have those 2 pairs solved on the left-hand side. But I guess like during that rotation, or like during that X cross solution, I see that this blue-yellow pair has already come up, but I'm already like in the mindset of, okay, let's just rotate and solve that F2L pair, but just do it with a sledgehammer to preserve the blue-yellow one. All I planned was the keyhole X cross and the white and green pair, but yeah, the front, the blue-yellow one is pretty obvious, like pretty hard not to see that. But it's just about making that adjustment during the middle of the solve. I think this is a case that like it's fairly easy to recognize. Like you've got the 2 orange blocks on like the front and the right. Intuitively I'm like, okay, if I just sledgehammer, U-prime sledgehammer, this is going to orient OLL. Like I'm pretty sure like I've done this case like a bunch of times.
The way I think about it is like I just don't want to mess up this orange edge. Yeah, that's a good idea as well. That's a good way of thinking about it. That's probably was in my mind as well. Like just keep that orange edge preserved. So worst case, like you're not going to get a dot OLL, but it's something where like I've done it just enough times that I'm like, okay, this would probably work in like an official solve.
8 seconds.
For this solve, Felix did orange cross. His cross pieces are here, 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 and here. He's going to start off by solving the white, green, and blue edges relative to each other, like this. And then as he's putting this yellow in, relative to these, he's going to set up the white and green pair, which has an edge here and a corner here. So he moves those over, inserts them into the back. Then he does these 2 into the back like that. Then he saw these 2. So he does those, and then he does these 2. Very nice, no rotations. OLL and PLL. I feel like the scramble was just not very good on the next solve. So like it's a 6.55. So relative to the other solves, it seems horrible, but
it does, and people are like, oh wow, it's like such a shame that you got a 6.55. But like looking back at this solve, like I feel like it was quite a good solve. Like didn't make many mistakes or like not many lockups or anything like that. It was just like very standard, similar to the first solve, just slightly better. I wasn't really thinking too much about like, you know, what times do I need. Like that was true right until the end as well. I wasn't thinking about what do I need to break the record. I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and and try and do solves as quickly as I can.
8 seconds.
For the last solve, Feliks has an easy blue cross. As you can see, 3 of the cross pieces are already solved relative to each other, so it is a matter of inserting this last cross piece while optimizing the start of F2L. And in this case, we can see that we can easily build the red and white pair as well as set up the red and yellow pair. So the way he does this is by inserting the cross piece like this and pairing up these two. Again, just like that. And then as he solves the cross and inserts this one in the back, he knows he's going to get this one as well. And he also saw this third pair in inspection, so he just does it. And then for this fourth pair, he sees that instead of doing that and getting this OLL, he can just cancel into the OLL because the alg for this OLL is this anyways. So from this position, he cancels into it. It's also just a VLS. And then here he rotates this A perm.
The fifth solve, I was kind of saved by that really easy first 2 pairs. And actually, if you look at it, I think it's like 11 moves. And if you switch to the red F2L, it's like 11 moves with 3 pairs solved. It's like pretty insane.
Would you ever consider doing a rotation and switching cross colors mid-solve?
No. No, because, well, at least not in that situation. Especially also because I inspected for that third F2L pair in the front left slot. And so, because the first 2 were so easy, I was like, okay, there's a fair chance that if I just keep going and keep turning quickly, this will be like a 5. Because if I just because the first 2 pairs and cross 11 moves, I feel like with a standard finish to the solve, even if the last 2 pairs are kind of average and like a normalized layer, like that should be a 5. And so yeah, my instinct is like just keep going as quickly as you can with the remainder of the solve. Like definitely switching to red here and finishing that F2L, and then I think you get a through rough U-perm. That might have been slightly faster and pretty cool, but yeah, I don't think I don't think that would have been a wise decision. Well, I don't think I would have been able to see and do that.
Yeah, that's very hard to see.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if I didn't see anything, maybe I would have switched to the red. If I only planned those first 2 pairs and I was just kind of looking around and scoping for the next 2, I could have switched to red, but because I'd already planned that third pair in my mind, I was like, well, let's just go ahead and do it. I didn't even notice those red pieces. So that third pair is, I mean, you can do a keyhole with a wide U prime rotationless solution there, but no, I don't know, just went ahead and did the RU solution.
Do you think doing the RU solution makes it easier to set up for whatever you're going to do next, or is it just a nerves thing?
I think it's a nerves thing, and I guess, yeah, slightly easier look ahead. But probably the keyhole is a bit more efficient. They're probably similar.
Yeah, and then this last part, I thought the execution was nice again. You forced the I mean, it is a cancellation, but did you see it as a cancellation or just
it's like a cancellation or forcing a through rough, whatever you call it. Either VLS or just forcing a through rough. Yeah, I think that's just experience, and I think that's something that I guess a lot of people, as they improve, basically you can kind of see more and more OLL, you can predict OLL from further and further out. So once you get to I don't know, sub 10, sub 12 kind of range, then maybe for something like RU prime R prime or RU R prime as an insertion for your last pair, you can fairly easily predict what OLL case you're going to get. Yeah, I think it's more once you're sub 12, sub 10 kind of range, that if you have a 3-move insertion to finish your last F2L pair, especially if it's in the front right, then you can see all the pieces that are going to be on the OLL, you can track everything. Most things will stay oriented. It's just the orientation of a few corners will change, and you should generally be able to like predict the OLL. And then like as you get faster and faster, like your, I guess, prediction just becomes like more intuitive and faster.
And then you got that nice A perm. So do you always like do
A-perm, no AUF.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you always do the cube rotations when you see the no AUF, or because your cube rotations are really nice. Like,
oh, this one was nice. It was kind of like a one regrip.
But you do it so
kind of
quickly and like so accurately. Because that when I was trying to
well, in this solve, yes.
In this solve, it was like perfect.
Like, yeah.
So in that case, you were just like, okay, I have to go for it. And like, what's your mindset? Because you're saying that you don't always succeed, because that's a very high risk play. Like, you're essentially letting go of the cube and like hoping that your understanding of the like the flight time and the rotation, and you're gonna catch it in the perfect way and execute it perfectly. Yeah. So what's your mindset when you go into a high risk play like that?
I mean, I wouldn't call like it super high risk. Like, I feel like, you know, executing that rotation perfectly is probably like, I don't know, somewhere between 30 and 50% of the time for something like that. But like at that point, I'm like, okay, I've had a super easy F12, a free rough OLL. Like, this is good. Just finish it off as quickly as you can. And luckily, luckily in 3x3, sometimes you don't even have time to like get shakes or get nervous. And that's kind of what happened here, as opposed to like bigger cubes where if something's going very well, then it plays with your head and then you start shaking, that sort of thing. But in 3x3, yeah, it didn't really happen.
Thank you so much to Feliks for joining me on today's special edition of Breakdown Of. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. It was nice to hear Feliks share his insights on the solve, share a few tips here and there. And he did talk about some more stuff in our interview, so I'll probably be releasing 1 or 2 more videos with Feliks. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being patient. I know the world record came out 2 days ago, but the breakdown is finally here, so shout out to you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. This is Laser Monkey out.